Hi, my name is Eliza Mendoza. I'm a realtor here in Southern Idaho, and I help people buy, sell, and build homes all throughout the Magic Valley. And today, we're talking about something that almost every single person asks me before they move here. The wind in Twin Falls. Depending on who you talk to, you are going to hear completely different opinions. Some people will tell you it's not a big deal at all, and other people will make it sound like you are going to be fighting for your life just to walk outside. So today, I want to break down in a real, honest, and factual way. We are going to talk about why it's windy, what the data actually says, what it feels like living here, and how it might impact your day-to-day life. First, let's talk about why Twin Falls gets wind in the first place. This part is actually really important because it helps everything else make sense. Twin Falls sits in what's called the Magic Valley. We have very open terrain. We have the Snake River Canyon cutting through the area, and we have air moving between mountain ranges. So what happens is the air naturally funnels through this region. And when you combine open land with the canyon effect, it creates consistent airflow. So the wind here is not random, and it's not just a coincidence. It's actually built into the geography of the area. Now let's get into the actual data, because this is where things start to get more grounded. On average, Twin Falls sees wind speeds around 8 to 10 miles per hour throughout the year. That is the average, meaning most days are not extreme. The windiest time of year is typically from November through May. And within that time frame, March is usually the peak. That's when people tend to notice the wind the most. Now, on the flip side, the calmest time of year is late summer, especially August. So right away, I want you to understand something really clearly. It's not windy all year long. There are very distinct seasons where the wind is more noticeable and seasons where it's barely a factor. Now let's talk about how strong the wind can actually get, because this is usually what people are worried about. While the average wind speeds are moderate, gusts can definitely get stronger. During certain storms or high pressure systems, winds gusts can reach over 50 miles an hour. And yes, on those days, you are going to feel it. You might notice it when you open your car door. You might notice it when you're walking across a parking lot. Those are the days people remember. But here's what's important to keep in mind. Those conditions are not happening every day. They are occasional, and they are usually tied to specific weather patterns, especially in the spring. Now, let me translate all of that into what it actually feels like living here, because numbers only tell part of the story. In real life, you're going to experience a mix. You'll have days that are completely calm, where you wouldn't even think about the wind. You'll have days that are just a light breeze, where it's actually kind of nice. And then, yes, you will have days where the wind is strong enough that you notice it throughout the day. Spring is definitely the biggest factor. That's when you'll hear people talk about it the most. But something interesting happens. People who move here tend to adjust really quickly. What feels noticeable at first just becomes normal. And most people end up not thinking about it nearly as much as they expected to. Now let's talk about how this plays into real estate, because this is where I can really help you understand the bigger picture. Does wind impact real estate decisions? A little bit, yes. It can influence how people design their outdoor spaces. For example, you might see more covered patios. You might see landscaping or fencing designed to block wind. You might see people position seating areas in more protected spots. But here's the truth. It does not stop people from moving here. Twin Falls continues to grow year after year. And when people are making decisions about where to live, they are looking at the full picture. Affordability, lifestyle, community, access to outdoor recreation, and compared to those things, wind is usually a very small factor. Now, I want to give you some perspective by comparing this to other places. On average, Twin Falls sits around 9 miles per hour annually for wind speeds. That is actually pretty similar to a lot of cities across the western United States. The difference is not necessarily the average. The difference is how noticeable it feels on certain days. Because of the open land and the canyon, when the wind does pick up, you feel it more. So it's not that it's consistently windy, it's that when it happens, it's more noticeable than in some other areas. Now let's talk about predictability, because this is really important if you're trying to plan your move. There are websites and tools that track weather data, historical averages, and seasonal patterns, and those can be very helpful for understanding trends. But wind is one of the hardest things to predict long term. Even meteorologists rely on probability and patterns rather than guarantees. So while we can look at history and say what typically happens, we cannot predict exactly what it will be like in the future. So I want to pause here and give an important disclaimer. The information in this video is based on publicly available weather data, historical trends, and general observations. Every person's experience can be different. Weather can change at any time, and it is always important to do your own due diligence when deciding if an area is the right fit for you. We cannot fully predict or guarantee future weather conditions. Now, I want to give you my honest, real-life perspective. Is Twin Falls windy? Yes, at times. There are definitely days where you will notice it. You may want to strap down your trampoline in the spring, but is it something that makes people regret moving here? Almost never. For most people, the positives of living here far outweigh the negatives. The cost of living, the sense of community, the 4 seasons, the access to outdoor spaces, the growth of the area, and all of those things tend to matter a lot more in the long run. So if you are considering moving to the Twin Falls area, I would encourage you to look at the full picture. Don't base your decision on one factor. Understand the environment, understand the seasons, and think about what matters most to you and your lifestyle. If you're thinking about moving to Twin Falls, building here, or just want help understanding the area, I would love to help you. You can call me, text me, or reach out anytime. There's also a link in my bio where you can fill out a quick form so we can connect directly. Once you fill that out, we can talk one-on-one about Twin Falls, your situation, and answer any other questions you have. I really look forward to getting to know you and helping you through the process. And if you want more real, honest videos about what it's like living in Southern Idaho, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Bye, we'll see you on the next one.